So I'm just going to go over the shot making and the course management documents. So we'll start off with the shot making. The first shot is, so it's a high tee shot. So say you got you're hitting driver and you got to hit your ball over some trees or something, or also when you're playing long par threes. And whenever you're playing a par three, this Ben Hogan said this is always tee your ball up, because you want to give yourself the best lie possible, and when you're hitting irons, just having your ball slightly above the ground, you're giving yourself, putting the ball in a better position to hit it more easy. So yeah, so to hit you can only do this with tee shots and or bunkers. You can do it as well, but you simply, when you set up, if you just drop your arm down like that, you just want to tilt your spine, which is going to allow you to hit up. So pretty basic, nothing to it. The next one, so you got a 3/4 shot. So basically, hitting a 3/4 shot, don't fire your right hip towards the target at the beginning of the downswing, and so you're just taking some speed out of the shot. And then if you want to hit a half shot, you when you set up, you only shift your ankles towards the target. Don't turn your lower body, and same again, don't fire that right hip towards the target at the beginning of the downswing. And again, it's just taking more club head speed out of the shot. So yeah, that's that. So we've got the high soft shot, which is, so your general shot is rolling the club face open, but so in 5 lessons, Hogan actually tells you to hinge your hands. So the more you hinge your hands, the higher you'll hit it. And so with the high soft shot, when you're hinging your hands in the takeaway, that bone, you want that to go out that way, and that's how you get that toe up. So when you get to parallel, your toe will be up. So that actually means your club's actually open. And also, when it comes to bunker shots that you want to rise up quickly and sit down quickly, and flop shots, don't rotate the club face back into impact. So that's your high soft shot. Like I said, the more you increase the hinging of your wrist, the more you're going to hit down, the higher it's going to go. And that's just, as you practice, you'll get it. The knockdown shot is basically, so you're not rotating, you're not hinging, you're simply just swinging the club back without your hands doing anything during the swing. So just dead hands. And what that does is it shallows your arc out, just from just in the lower part of the swing, and it just takes spin off the ball as well. And so it's particularly useful in playing into the wind. Stinger. This is so Stinger is quite easy. So you just take your normal setup, get set up, but just as you assume your posture and you set your knees forward and your hips back, just squeeze your buttocks muscles in, and that just makes you stand up a bit taller. And then your ball position, you go 2 ball positions back, and because then when you come down, you're going to have your hands forward, but because you're standing a little taller, it's actually shallowing your arc through the hitting area, so you're coming through with your hands forward, plus you're extending low. So that ball's just going to take off low and run a mile. And you can also play your knockdown shot like that too, like into the wind. That's a real weapon. If you just take the hands out and play the stinger shot like that into the wind, it's just that's a real weapon off the tee and into long par fives. So that's the stinger. So decreased spin is so for all. So from 8-iron, so when you're hitting full shots with your 8-iron to your lob wedge, you want the ball trajectory to be low, because one of the things you don't want when you're hitting to the pin, you don't ever want the ball to spin backwards, because you can't control that. And what you want is the ball to land once, bounce, and then stop. Because if you can do that, well then, you're going to be more consistent with where you're positioning the ball in relation to the pin. Like, you have control over that. Whereas with backspin, you never really know. And where this is really useful is, say sometimes you'll have, you might be hitting a sand iron, a wedge, even a 60 into a green on a par 3 or an approach shot, and the green might be sloped from back to front, and you don't want to spin the ball off the green, and this shot's a real effective weapon for that. So all you're doing, normal setup, everything, but when you swing the club back, you rotate it closed, but from there you don't worry about anything. You don't rotate the club face back, because what happens is, as soon as you start back, it automatically squares. But what happens is, we've now de-lofted that club face. So I've got like a sand iron here. So I'm taking a sand iron and turning it into an 8-iron trajectory, but it'll still fly the same distance as a sand iron. So you use that on all full shots from 8-iron to lob wedge. Play that shot. Otherwise, if you need to play a high shot, well, you can go back to your opening the hands or even hinging, depending, at what requirement you have in that turn with the higher trajectory. So now we've got the punch shot, which is so we're hinging the hands. But when we hinge the hands, what we want to happen is, we want this bone to point to the ground, and that's where we get the toe down. So yeah, so we're just keeping that bone, and see now the toe, so effectively the club face is closed. And again, don't worry about rotating, because as soon as I start that downswing, now it's squared, and what happens is, it really de-lofts, and the ball will come out really low, but it has a lot of spin on it. As soon as it lands, it just sort of takes one bounce and it just stops on a dime. What else have we got now? The extended arc. So you pretty much would do this on all if you're looking to get distance off the tee, so when you set up, before you begin your swing, just push your hands back, and what that does is it shallows your arc out. And then, hang on, I'll do it properly. So we're going to do that, and then we rotate, and now we're extending. And whereas if we just rotate from here, see, look at the difference in the extension. And yeah, so pretty much if when you want to go on a par 5, you want to go after it, but it's basically when you want to get the maximum distance with your tee shot, set your hands back before you take the club back. Then we have a decreased arc. This is used in the short game, or mainly in the short game. So basically when you get into about 40 yards and in, you start doing this, and all you're doing is you're just pushing your hands forward before you begin the takeaway, and all that does is decreases your arc, and it's really good when you got really short and tight. Just when you want to be aggressive, you want to swing at it, because you're decreasing the arc, it's actually taking the club head and it's allowing you to swing really aggressive. Whereas if I go like, so I'll do that again. So I'm pushing forwards. Now look where the club head is there. Now I'll do it without pushing my hands forward. Look at the difference. So from 40 yards and in is when you don't have to do it with every shot, but highly effective in being aggressive, and you'll just be a short game wizard when you get that. You'll be able to just hit shots where before you have to more control, like hit a bit softer, but without this you don't. It's no fear, you can just go at it really aggressive. And then we've got the fade, basic. So when you put your left hand on, you just move your left thumb towards the target. So when we swing the club back and we come in, now my club head, my thumb wants to return back more to its square position, so it leaves the club face open. And so that's just when you want to hit a fade, just a general fade, and you just simply aim the club face and your body left of the target. Just gonna change over. I mean, it took me a long time to figure these shots out, like literally 20 years. So draw obviously is vice versa. So we just move the thumb over like that, and then when we swing back, you can see now it's my wrist bone actually. It's my wrist always wants to return back to that neutral position, and so now the club face is closed at impact. So yeah, you set up like that, and you aim the club face and your body right of the target, and so that's that one. I mean, when you practice all these shots, you'll now this is used for short game shots like flop shots and bunker shots basically, and it's all about hitting the ball high. So the first one we have is the toe up hinge. Then next, widening the stance. Then next, bending our legs more, so we're lowering our center of gravity. And then last, we tilting the spine. Now you can do all of them together, partially, or just one individually. I mean, the one thing I always do for a short game shot is I'll get in and I'll start pretending I'm throwing a ball, and next thing you know, I'm in that position and I can feel the hitting position, and then you just literally set up and hit it. Because I don't take practice swings ever. I just think, because if you're sure and you're positive you can hit that shot, then you go and take a practice swing, you're taking yourself away from that positive mindset and focus. You know, it should always be tunnel vision and commitment. And so that's, and then we've got low, which there's two things you can do here is obviously two ball positions back when you set up, or you can just squeeze your buttocks muscles together like with the stinger shot. Just again, with practice you'll figure that out. And let's see, well, I don't think I've got it on here, but this is just only used for short game shots. So we have that pressure here, but say you want to hit a soft shot, just release that pressure when you take your grip, and that just, what that does is just lets the club release earlier, and it just allows the club to get more under the ball, and the ball just comes off a bit softer. Whereas if I've got that firm pressure, you can see the difference there. So that's shot making. And so with your, if you look at the practice document, so with all your, when you start your practice session for your long game, get your sand on, left hand only, but set up exactly as you would, and practice all your, you know, rotate back, rotate and not rotate back, hinge toe up, rotate back, hinge toe up, no rotation back. We've got the rotating closed, where you don't have to rotate back anyway. And then you've got your, and then you got your hinge toe down, don't have to worry about the rotate back. And then no manipulation of the hands whatsoever. And so that's, yeah, so that's shot making. So now we're just going to go into course management. Starting off, so on the first tee, you remember you're playing 18 holes. There's no, like, this idea of getting up and getting the ball off as fast as you can is, that's just ridiculous. Is, you know, you've got 18 holes to play. It's not like that first tee shot is the most crucial shot you're going to play all day like that. It matters so much, or sorry, it's not a shot that you should be worrying about. It's literally your first shot. And even, you know, it doesn't matter where that ball ends up. The main thing with our first shot is we want to get our composure set for the round. So with your first tee shot, just take longer, move slower, just relax. You know, you got 18 holes to play. Take a few, well, I don't take practice swings, so take some practice swings. And then just step into the ball like you're not even worried about it. And just wherever that ball goes, that's where the ball goes. It's the first shot. There's nothing to worry about. Like, you see people, they get all nervous. I mean, you're always going to have those nerves there, but why rush it? You know, you're just stressing you. You're adding more stress to a shot that you don't need to stress about because you've got 18 more holes to play. So all your shots, full shots, always play a fade unless you don't have to. If you have to play a draw, well, then you play a draw. So when it comes to like hazards or out of bounds, you aim away from the trouble and then bring the ball back sort of towards the trouble. So what do we got? So when you're playing par fours and par fives, ideally you always want to try and get your ball to finish in a flat spot. So if that means, say, you could hit your driver and have a, let's say, we'll just say a 7-iron into the green, but you've got a downhill lie, you're better off hitting a 3-wood to a flat spot and then hitting a 5-iron. Because it's going to be a lot easier. The worst shot in golf is playing from a downhill lie. So when the pin's on the left side of the green, try to position your tee shot on the right side of the fairway and vice versa. If the pin's on the right side of the green, try and position the ball on the left side of the fairway. So when you're looking at on approach shots, when you're looking at the hole, picture a 30-foot circle. That's what you're hitting for. And if you're not sure when to play it safe, look at the hole, and if any part of that 30-foot circle is off the green, then bring it back to where that 30-foot circle's on the green. You're always playing for that 30-foot circle. It's another thing Hogan did, because he said, if I can get that ball within that 30-foot circle, I'm left with a putt with inside 15 feet, and you never know, you get lucky sometimes, and you do. Because any putt from 20 feet, you always want to be thinking, I'm holing this, 20 feet is always a holeable putt. So hit your long on shots high, short on shots low. Now this one, so when you got a front pin position that's a tight front pin position or a tight back pin position, for the front pin position you want to hit a full shot, and think of it that you're actually hitting to a pin that's just beyond the actual pin position you're hitting, because you're better off to be long than short, because you always want to be on the dance floor. And then with the back pin position, you want to play a 3/4 shot where you're playing to a pin position just in front. It's just all about percentages. So yeah, so playing tight approach shots to tight pins, use the 30-foot circle rule. Now this one, wait up, and always be mindful of where the best spot. When every approach shot, always be mindful where's the best place to miss it, because you can't hit a perfect golf shot every time. Now this one is interesting. I love this one. So when you're playing downwind, you over club. So what you do is you take an extra club and you grip down an inch, and then what you do is you just hit a 3/4 swing. And the reason you do this is by taking the extra club, you're lowering the trajectory, and you're not allowing the wind to affect the ball, because the higher it goes up, the more the wind's going to carry it. And that was one thing that Hogan did. It's interesting with Hogan how many things he did different compared to all the other pros. That's what separated him. But when you look at golf today, you don't see anyone doing the things that he used to do. It's like he said, every time I played 36 holes each day, because when he was warming up, he would play 18 holes. He would practice every tee shot and approach shot for that round. And when you do that, you feel so confident going to the first tee. So when you're putting, you always want to make sure that I always draw a line through a dimple, and I set that line parallel to the ground, because you always want to be hitting to a square dimple. And I'll show you, because if I drop a ball from here, not much happens, but when I do it from here, see how it moves? See? And so think of a putter face, especially when it's more when it's on shorter putts where it really is, where if you're not hitting the dimple in the right spot. You ever sometimes when you miss a putt and you think, how did I miss that putt? In when Rory, this is interesting, that those 2 putts that Rory missed to lose the US Open to Bryson DeChambeau, that was his putter. He had the worst putter combination you can have. He had a mallet with a slant neck hosel on the heel. He actually rotated, the club face rotated open on him, but he doesn't know that. He has no idea. The last part, starting out as a beginner, that doesn't apply to you. So yeah, there you go. That's so that's covering the shot making and course management. And like I said, with the shot making is actually the best way to like really, what I would suggest doing is go to a short game area. If there's a pin in the middle, or if you can just put something in the middle of the green, go about say 20 yards out and hit all your shot making shots, like when it comes to using your hands. And with that, because then you'll get a better idea of how the ball acts in the air and then how it acts on the once it lands. But also practice it with your long game. And it's like when you're practicing your long game, wherever your last ball lands, that's going to be your next target. And then what you do is you imagine you're playing a hole. Could be a tee shot, could be an approach shot. And you think of, you think about it, I've got some wind coming off this way, or you may actually have some wind there. And imagine a green with a pin and you've got to hit a low draw. And that was the one thing they said about Hogan, was when he hit balls, it's not like he hit a lot of golf balls. It's just in between, he always took longer time. He didn't just hit a ball bang like you see pros today, hit into the same target. So I'm saying all these things Hogan did, how they have not carried over, like it just doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, it's unbelievable. So there you go. That covers those videos, and that pretty much we have now covered everything you sort of need to know. And yeah, once you get your this stance sorted out, that's pretty much everything covered. And from there, it's really just tightening up anything that is, if you're struggling with it. But we're pretty much there now. That's pretty much the teaching aspect. And then the next aspect will be the progression of improving your skill level. And I believe in 3 months you'll be able to shoot under par consistently. I have no doubt about that.